SpookyPooch here. It's time for another Ask Reddit for Redditors who are well off financially or even rich. What is something poor people don't do that you just can't wrap your head around? I am a poor person, so let's get into this. Poor pooch. I'm certainly not rich, but I'm comfortable. One thing that drives me nuts is American car culture. The idea that it's not just okay, but expected to take out a $15K plus loan for a car. Pretty much everybody I know gets the most expensive possible car they can probably maybe sometimes afford the monthly payments for. That's just crazy to me. I'll stick to my 10-year-old Corolla with 150,000 miles and no payments. Thanks. Yeah. The most I'll spend on a car is $5,000, and I'm $4,000 left to go. Yay! Except I got a warranty on it and didn't realize that it bumped up the price way too far to where it's not even worth it. Yay! I'm fucked. But it's a used car. I never get new cars. Never was into that. Somebody else says, when I was 19, my mom drove me out to a dealer to buy a car. I had barely driven at that point because I didn't care much about cars in high school and I didn't need one in my first year of college, but she took me out there and refused to let me get a throwaway car. I literally was forced into a 5-year loan to buy a same-year used car, $12,000. At the time, I was making maybe $50 per week if I was lucky, and she made me empty out my savings account to pay the down payment. Damn. In the end, it worked out, as I still have that car 11 years. Add 128,000 miles later, and my yearly maintenance cost is much smaller than the cost of monthly payments, but I honestly think I got lucky in that regard. You did. I banged that car up pretty damn good on several occasions, learning how to be a good driver, and most of the abuse that car took was damn near my fault. At my age now, I'd feel confident getting a decent used car because I'd be able to treat it well, but if you're just learning, you'll probably fuck it up over time, not getting oil changes on time, alignments, braking poorly, not spelling braking right, shifting incorrectly, etc. You should get something to learn in, not something that'll lock you up for a long time. Yeah. Guess that's it for that one. Oh So Easy says, putting $4,000 rims on a car worth $2,000. Someone else says, normally an old Civic, add a $2,000 sound system with the sound turned up so loud you can hear the trunk rattling from the oversized subwoofer, and this perfectly describes some people I used to know. Don't forget the huge-ass spoiler on the trunk lid of the front-wheel drive Civic. I used to love spoilers as a kid because I was like, oh, the car has a tail, and then I learned how it's like a super big douchebag beacon. Plus, I don't do tiny cars, as in like slim, you know what I mean? Like a coupe, like a Camaro. I don't have those, so the spoiler wouldn't work anyway. Doing dunk nuts. Stop buying lottery tickets you aren't going to win. If you have someone you know has, cool, they're a unicorn. Ew, yeah, plus people try to fucking murder you. I never want to win the lottery or anything because everybody comes out of the woodwork and they're like, oh yeah, I have this condition, can you give me money? Oh, I'm so poor, can you give me money? And suddenly they all love you. But yeah, that's never gonna work. Someone else says, this honestly drives me insane. We're not doing very well financially, and my dad is still out buying lotto tickets every week. He usually puts in about $50. The absolute worst part is that he never fucking checks them. If you're going to drop a stupid amount of cash, at least follow up. Yeah, that's weird. He goes on to say, tell me about it. I used to get the lotto is buying hope, which honestly I support. Pitch $1 a week to the Powerball and let that sustain you through the week. Nothing wrong with that. We all need little things to get us through life. But people, including my dad, consider it a legitimate investment. He's honestly so delusional that he's going to win the lottery and finally make it big. But this is how he's always been. Wants money, spends it like he has it, doesn't want to work for it. No offense, but your dad sounds really fucking dumb. Really? Really, is that what the person was saying? Like, good job, Captain Obvious. Let them burn says having multiple children when they can't afford to support themselves, let alone a family. I am on board with this, thank you! Bless. Contraceptives are a hell of a lot cheaper than a kid. I get that accidents still happen and some people are victims of poor education, but what really baffles me are the couples who choose to have several kids, even when they barely manage the ones they have. Upvote, thank you. In another video, I talked about how I had this friend, and she was pretty smart, and she had what I think was an oops baby, and then later I was talking to her, and she's like, yeah, we're not really that great financially, but we're gonna have another kid. And I'm just like, oh god. Like, why would you purposely, knowingly that your finances suck, purposely have another child? Like, maybe be responsible and don't have a child. Like me, 'cause I am very poor, and I don't want to curse my child with all the health issues my parents bestowed on me. Moving on. I knew a guy with 12 kids from multiple women used to complain about paying child support. Dude, if you haven't learned what a condom is after your 10th child, nobody can save you. I feel bad for the kids. True. He wasn't in contact with any of them. Although, is that better? Most likely, yes. Someone else says, my family has money, but we are pretty humble about it. 10-plus-year-old cars, average house, average clothes, etc. My sister's fiance started his own company and is doing decent, not big money, but if things continue to grow, he will. I thought he was doing great by the way he lives, though. Brand new trucks, ATVs, eats out every night, really fancy furniture. I was absolutely shocked at the amount of debt he's in. Owes 2 times on a car than it's worth. He's trying to save for a house now, and he's saying he could get a loan without a deposit, and I'm trying to tell him not to, 'cause the interest would be outlandish. It's like, save some. It's like, save some, man, don't run yourself into the ground before you get off of it. That is a random capitalization in that sentence. A comma would have been fine. Anyway, yeah. Interest is a motherfucker. I suggest everybody keep a budget book is what I call mine, and every half month I go through all my debt and bills and see how much income to debt ratio I have. Oh god. And then I figure out that sometimes one of the credit cards is way ridiculous and I need to pay it down. So yeah. Credit cards are very good or very bad depending how you use it, and I have been stupid, so I've been using it as like an emergency to get by on bills, and it fucks you pretty bad. Anyway, Thad says not putting more of an emphasis on education. I'm not talking about paying for education, I'm talking about actually giving a damn about education. Is that me? 'Cause I'm very stupid, but I care to learn anyway? As a teacher, this is mind-boggling to me. There are, of course, parents who are lower income that care a lot about their child's education and want them to succeed. Unfortunately, for the most part, I have found that the negative culture surrounding education in poverty and lower income areas is absolutely skewed. Either the parents hate school and pass it on to their kids, or see school as free babysitting and don't really care how their kids do in class. The babysitting one is what my parents did. Last year, I had a student who informed me that if he were to go to high school, he would be in the first in his family to do so. Not graduate from high school, just fucking attend. Everybody else in his family dropped out and were homeschooled, air quotes, which was a thinly veiled excuse for them to run around and do whatever they wanted. I come to find out that most, if not all, his siblings were arrested for having a hand in pretty prominent meth bust that happened in my state. Insane. Edit. Some people below are turning this into an issue of whether or not education is needed, why some people think their public school education is shit, etc. One person below even called me a bad mentor for my students. In my eyes, regardless of how you receive me, an education is extremely important. It can be a tough road to get that can sometimes, unfortunately, be filled with bullies, incompetent adults and peers, and difficulty with certain subjects, but important nonetheless. I understand leaving school for financial reasons, having anxiety, etc., but my original point was that several parents simply just don't give a shit about education for whatever reason. Yes. I'll read this one. My brother-in-law recently graduated from his doctorate in education. His dissertation. Fuck me. Research found that socioeconomic status is a stronger indicator, has a greater effect on test scores than gender, race, etc. It kind of makes sense when you think about it, but is also a bit startling. Anyway, next one. Risky sex all the time. Poorer you are statistically, the more unplanned pregnancies you have. There was a time when my finances were shit and that it was a huge libido killer. I felt like I needed to get my shit together. Chalk it up to a combination of education, access to healthcare, and price of condoms. Condoms don't fucking cost much! I'd buy them with my lunch money! What the fuck are people on? Jesus fucking shit. And then condoms are free at Planned Parenthood and I'm sure many other places. I went to a school that had a lot of teen parents. There were also no sex ed at all. A large amount of the kids didn't have internet or computers at home, and the closest Planned Parenthood was at least 40 miles away. It's easy to say there's resources out there when you can actually access them. Again, I used my lunch money to buy condoms. Like, woo. And even then, don't have sex! You're not being forced into it, and if you are, fucking go to the cops. I hope to God you have the courage to fucking do it. I know I didn't. Yay, fun side story. Anyway, moving on. Defiantly Optimistic says, pay down... Wrong there. Pay down their debt. You'd be surprised how many people have the means to pay off huge chunks of debt a year, but don't or end up pulling out more debt for things like new cars. Here's a life pro tip. Pay down your smallest debt with the highest interest rate. Once it's paid off, take that freed up money that would have come into a monthly payment, split it in half, and put half of it straight into paying off your next debt. That would mean bill. Or whatever, I don't know. The other is to have fun with. No, don't always have fun. Sometimes you can stay in instead and just watch a movie. You don't have to go out and do that shit. But anyway, the way you find out what your interest rate is, you log into your online credit card and you go into the documents or the statements or whatever, and then it'll usually show it on the first, if not second page, usually a little bit bigger. It'll say what the interest rate is, and then around there it's going to say like what day it's usually due and stuff like that, and then you can see how crazy it is. But aside from that, I also mark down every month what the actual interest charge is, so that I can monitor if it's going up, which it always is. Oh god. I'm giving advice that I can't even fucking do myself. Because I'm slowly working on it. It's just the fact that, fucking heed my warning. See, what else did they say? But yeah, you pay down the smallest amount. So if you owe $500, which is so little, on one card, and then $2,000 on another card, paying down the $500 is obviously a lot easier than the $2,000 on the other card, so just do that. Blah blah blah. I don't know if I'm boring, but this is like survival skills, and I want people to not be miserable. Someone says, the craziest thing I see people do is rejoice about paying off their car, credit card, etc., and then they immediately finance another car. Yeah. I knew, a doctor, very rich, making over $1,000 a day, so quite a nice amount of money, but his credit score is super fucked because even though he's making a shit ton of money, he's not watching where it's going, and he's not paying what he owes. So, yeah, it doesn't matter how much you make if you don't ever pay your dues, so... And negative reports on your credit stay there for 7 years, which, is a chunk of time. Someone says, regulate spending as a percentage of income. I used to be very poor, which is why I lived off of rice, lentils, peanut butter, and a bunch of that crap. I also hadn't bought new clothing as an adult until I turned 24. Yeah, I'm using like the same clothes I've had as a teenager. Luckily, I still kind of almost fit in them. Otherwise, I did a little bit of thrifting, but I wear my clothes until they are ripped more than ripped. So, yippity dippity. Somebody goes, peanut butter is great for saving money. A couple tablespoons with a banana, 50 cents, and I'm set for hours. Then I eat a pound of chicken, $2 for lunch. Meanwhile, my dumbass coworker spends $7 a day on fast food. Meanwhile, Sherry doesn't get how I can afford a vacation. Fuck you, Sherry. Yeah, all these people always try to be funny at the end. I don't know. I just see it so much that it's just like, we get it. I don't know. Black Folder says, at risk of sounding like a douchebag, being okay with your kids being fucking shit, mediocre and not taking school seriously. I'm not from a mega well-off background, but at school we had a group of kids who got in because they were local to the area and their parents were fine with them bunking off, smoking and drinking instead of going to class, never doing their homework, not preparing for exams. The cycle of poverty doesn't just break itself. You have to claw your way out with hard work. I'm gonna upvote that. That's very true. High Hope says, I know this isn't the case for all, but I just wanted to share my experience. I grew up poor in a neighborhood of immigrants, am also. Most of our parents came to this country with no knowledge of the education system. On top of that, they usually work a lot. I never really had someone on top of me checking if I had been getting good grades or not. Even applying to college was a struggle because my parents didn't understand why I had to do things like volunteer, stay in school late for clubs, and pay for the SAT. I was lucky to go to a school program that actually educated us about college. Lucky. For some time, though, I went to my regular neighborhood school. The mentality there was like it didn't really matter. You are allowed to work at a young age, at least in my state, and making money was more important. Plus, people didn't even consider going to college as a viable option. I actually had a friend in the program who shared his experience. He had an older sister with him who was brilliant and got good grades, but had to sacrifice college to support the family. Temporary, they said. And after learning that it had completely discouraged him in school, and after he just coasted by, okay. My reading ability is getting shittier because I've been doing this for a few hours. Kokoro! Or Kokoro! Says, buying shit you cannot afford by using monthly payments, save up, and then buy it. While saving up, you can look into it, thinking over it, and ask yourself, do I really need it? Like, really need it? That's a good batch of information. Because my parents never cared for me, so when I first started getting my paychecks, I would blow through them within an hour or two of cashing it. 4 months. So, I still have that need to, like, collect things, because it's nice to finally have some things. It's just now it's getting me into debt, but at the same time, I've been paying down all my debt, and never enjoying life, so it kind of fucking super blows. Anyway, paying in cash is good, and nowadays there's actually discounts you can get for paying in cash just because credit cards usually have like a 3% fee, kind of like PayPal. So now you can get discounts depending. This includes like, my friend got a discount for paying for LASIK, the eye surgery, the eyeball surgery for glasses, not needing them anymore, and there's a cash deal. So that's cool. But even so, if you have a credit card that has bonus points on it, save up the cash, pay with the credit card, and then within a week or two, pay off the credit card, and you get all those bonus points. Oh yeah. The poop inspector says their interest in gaudy status symbols like designer handbags and sunglasses. Yes. It's so stupid. And then there's all like the knockoff things, but at least they still look good. I don't feel like paying all this fucking money. Miss Farmer says, I'm by no means well off, but I do own a home and have an advanced college degree. Fucking shit. I try to make responsible financial decisions, but in the past year I lost my job and was hospitalized. I live on credit cards and I'm working my rear off to get out of debt. I am massively frustrated by the short-sighted way of some of my friends handling money. They are constantly looking for $75 for a bill, $200 for a car repair, $10 for gas, and so on. They rely on predatory short-term loans or title loans. They borrow money from folks, but they never pay it back. Whatever valuables they have are in and out of the pawn shop. A person I thought was a friend called me on Thanksgiving Day last year and wanted money to pay for a car repair. What mechanic is open on Thanksgiving? It varies. It depends who. It's their job, so they can open it whenever they want. She's never paid back the money, and I didn't hold it against her because her husband was my former coworker and a very dear friend. Because of my situation, I didn't have $250 for her car repair, and I told her no. She wrote something nasty about me on Facebook, so I unfriended her. Her kids are in the same cycle, and her grandkids are learning this as well. How do you hold up under that amount of stress and uncertainty? Yeah, there's a lot of people who think they're poor, but they just spend their money like shitheads. So, that's something to look at. Kind of like, are you actually hungry or are you bored? That has made me drop weight by recognizing what type of hungry I am. I Stand Correct says, I grew up well off, but my friend's family was dirt poor. He has always had to have $200 shoes and a new PlayStation and wouldn't be caught dead in a used shirt. On the other hand, I couldn't have cared less about that stuff. I get that everybody wants what they can't have, but I still felt bad for his parents. It was all they could do to keep him in Nikes. Okay. I knew one bitch who was on food stamps, but would conveniently still be able to buy her diamond jewelry that she just needed. There's so many shitty people in the world. Woe says, you never had to worry about the stigma. You never had to worry about the stigma of being poor. When I was in middle school, everyone wanted Adidas sneakers, the ones with 3 stripes on the side. I wore a knockoff pair from Payless, and I was ridiculed, mocked, pointed at, and called white trash when a wealthier girl in my class noticed. After that, I wore expensive shoes. When you grow up in a country that treats being poor like it's a moral failing, you try to compensate. It's easier to not give a shit and feel holier than thou because you didn't have to live with that target on your back. Yep, I had to wear really horrible clothes. Lots of hand-me-downs that were grossly too big on me. So yeah, I never fit in because I looked like a hot mess, and I couldn't do anything about it because I was a child. And then my mom would scream at me for getting bullied in middle school and high school, as if I chose to be bullied. You didn't give that school a chance. I did. Shit you can't afford. Blah blah. What Do says this applies to more things, but just save up money to spend on shoes around $100. You're just gonna need new shoes faster with a $20 pair. Also, in the long run, you'll thank me. My friends keep buying $20 shoes and the soles start falling off after 2 months. That's weird. I've bought boots for like 20 or 40 bucks, and it's been 10 years later, and they're still here. So I don't really know what that's about. I've had a $90 pair of Adidas for over 3 years. He tries to make his last a year, but soon enough he's got holes at the bottom of his shoe letting water in, and he can only duct tape them so much. I don't know. You both are doing something wrong. Let's see. Furies. What are you doing? My cat, sorry. One of the biggest, most repeated things from the sister thread of this one, what do rich people not get about the poor, is the idea that poor people can just save for anything. When you're living paycheck to paycheck and every cent is accounted for, you literally can't put aside for a thing. That's how I am. Your example seems easily affordable, and this would apply more obviously to more expensive things, but let's just say that they saved $20 per 2 months. It would take 10 months to reach the $90 outlay, which is what is he wearing on his feet for 8 months after his pair of cheap shoes shit the bed. Sometimes you are simply too poor to break the cycle, and just saving is a luxury of those with disposable income. Anyway, I don't feel like reading those shoes anymore. Parr says, get themselves up to their eyebrows in debt for crap that doesn't generate income. For example, a huge house or car, fancy clothes. At least technically with a house, it's a tax shelter, so you get some benefits out of it, as opposed to a car, like, it's collateral or whatever if you try to take out another loan, as in they can take the car if you don't pay for the loan. But otherwise, a house is at least a better investment, ? Even though they're all overpriced and just not worth it. But I don't know. It's fucking whatever. Oh god, Scoozy. Spend your money on education instead. No! No! Oh god! I know more people who went into amazing education and there's no job out there for them. I know more people who have gone through that than people who are in debt from just buying crap they don't need. And those are both alarmingly high numbers of people. Oh, like, I work warehouse jobs when I can work, because I have a lot of health issues, yay! But it's one of those things where in the end, if you stack us against each other, I have some debt, but at least I don't have school debt anymore. Because school debt is like, I don't know, 70 grand for something. That's probably not even enough. But at least, you know, me and that person are making the same amount of money an hour, but they have so much more debt, so technically I'm the rich one? Like, it's... oh... Do not invest in education. Now, what I mean by that is don't blindly do it. If you want to, you know, pick what you want to do, and then since you got the internet, find people who are in that profession, life pro tip, ask them the pros and cons of it, if it was worth it, you know, if they'd do it again, because that's a big thing. Like, if somebody could do life over again, would they still do that career? Because lots of times their answer is no. It's just the fact that they poured all their time and money into it, so they gotta make it work. And it's very sad. So yeah, we're at a day and age where you can really research what you're doing. My problem is back in the day, college was the answer. You know, that was the safe answer, the feel-good insurance for parents and stuff. So I went into it and wasted time and money, and there's no job out there. Yay! So don't just go to school to go to school. Please make sure there is something out there at the end. Otherwise, you fucked yourself really hard. And you wasted all your young years to have fun and go on adventures. Satanic Puppy says, vote against their own self-interest. I tend to vote for things like welfare, healthcare, the environment, finance reform, blah blah blah. Crap like that. The most people I know laugh and shake their head and make fun of me for voting against my own self-interest, because I'll be paying more in taxes, etc. Then along comes the people who actually benefit from that stuff, and they're like, hell no, we don't want any of that. I honestly can't wrap my head around it. Yeah. Redundant says, I'm not rich by any means, but my wife and I have a very hefty savings account, bless you, with a chunk of each paycheck going into an IRA. Is it a Roth IRA? Because those are the best. We are very comfortable, and being rather young still, going to school for our careers, I'd say we're well off. Buying stuff to eat and drink at work, I have a set budget for, and spend no more than $20 a week, but I budget that out, can afford it, and never go over. A guy I work with can't go a shift without going to Papa John's on his break, getting a small pizza, and washing it down with at least $5 to $10 worth of drinks he buys from the store. He easily spends $20 to $25 a day. That's $250 per paycheck he's just throwing away. Oh, that's awful. If you absolutely must eat at work, bring a lunch with you. Deli meats and bread go a long way. Bread's really good because there's a lot of calories in that. Egg salad or regular salad even. Switch over to bottled water, or if you must have your soda, buy it in bulk at $3 for a 12-pack instead of $2 for one bottle. This guy knows what's good. Yeah, bring in a lunch from home. Ugh. Everything was good there. They know what they're... Woke up quick says, far from rich, but I own my own home in Southern California. That has to count for something. Well, bad decisions being in California and just the cost of living there. Destroying the neighborhood you live in. For some reason, poor people dump their trash on the ground. Old mattress, leave it on the sidewalk. The city will pick it up for free if you call them. Let's tag this on the wall. Trash, just throw it on the ground. Blows my mind. I totally get being a product of your environment, but oh my god. How can you people not literally see the difference between Irvine, California, and Santa Ana, California? What do people gotta say? Someone goes, this is a big one. You know you're creeping into a shit area when there's garbage all over the ground, broken down vehicle, and old toys in the front yard, and a lawn that isn't maintained. Yeah, there's no excuse to be dirty. It's very easy to throw things away where they need to be. Also not like pissing in the road. Fire Pie says, a lot of people here are saying, you know, don't obsess over gaudy designer bags and stuff. It doesn't matter if you're rich or you're poor, designer bags are just obnoxious. Someone says, what's tacky is having the brand printed all over the bag. It doesn't become acceptable just because it's a Coach logo instead of LV. Blah, 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 blah. Fredbug says, why do poor people tend to have a habit of spending whatever money they have quickly? Even when poor people manage to escape from poverty, many of them still have bad spending habits, which can often result in them becoming poor again. What gives? You'd think people who worried about every cent they spend on would be more frugal. I think there was a stimulus thing where people were given free money, but the thing was there were apparently enough poor people who were keeping the money and saving it instead that it ended up not working as well as the government wanted or something. I don't know if that's accurate. So, disculpe. Someone says, I can give you mine and my finances, perspective, or fiancés. Fucking god. There's grammar and punctuation, please. We are dirt poor right now. As in recently evicted and homeless for 6 weeks, dirt poor right now. I grew up pretty comfortably middle class. My fiancé, now they use the fuck, has been poor his whole life. Our financial habits could not be more different. I will agonize over the difference in pennies per ounce on this brand of ranch dressing versus that brand of ranch dressing at the store. Yep, that's what I do. He just buys whatever and finds my penny pinching obnoxious and stressful. His attitude is, and I quote, we're broke anyway, we're spending the money anyway, what difference does it make? Ooh, I got a story. In psychology, it's called learned helplessness. If you put a dog in an unpleasant situation it can't get out of, he will eventually stop trying. Even when you put him in an unpleasant situation he can get out of. If somebody has been poor for 3, 5, 10 generations, the lesson they internalize, true or not, is that poverty is inescapable, so why bother trying? Why stress out and deny yourself small pleasures if it won't change anything anyway? So I dated somebody, and their mother once sat me down to give her stellar gold advice, and she goes to me, oh, debt. You're always going to have debt, so there's no point in paying it. Yeah, her credit score was in the 400s or so, like the most minimal it can possibly be, like what is it, 430 or something? But yeah, that was terrifying, and I was just staring at her face, and I'm like, she's being very serious with me right now. Hoo-ah! What else we got? Someone says you get so used to crazy crap happening that it takes away from your money so frequently that you try to spend it on all the things you'd rather spend it on immediately before something crappy has the opportunity to take money away from you. It's not smart or rational, that's why. That's not how I ever thought of it. I'm one of the poorest of the poor. Luckily, I'm not homeless, but, you know, paycheck away from that every week. If that... But I've never felt the need to spend money in fear of something else taking it. What? The bills, it goes to the bills, like, what? I don't know. That just seems very stupid. Sid goes, living in a shitty apartment, but driving a Corvette or Navigator. Yeah, a lot of people like to act rich with cars and a house, but then they end up being in the worst debt of anyone else. And I just drive a beaten up third-hand car? I think I'm the third owner, but whatever, used car. XG says, I grew up rich, turned dirt poor, am now okay. If someone spends their hourly wage for lunch, then what are they working for? Yeah! Damn! I had this one night job. I've had a few night jobs, but for some reason, this particular night job just was very hard to get through. So I would buy those gross energy drinks to get by, and not only was it barfy and made my stomach want to throw up, but they were so expensive that it's like, I'm working just to be able to afford these stupid energy drinks to keep me awake at this stupid fucking job. Doesn't make sense. A lot of people get by in life without sitting down and looking at the facts. That can go in like any direction of category of life, but especially with money, a lot of people don't realize how much interest they've just burned because they make minimal payments on their credit cards and stuff, and just, you know, whatever. In other news, my cat is very cute. She's on the bed, being really cute. How are you doing? You gonna meow? No? Okay. That's fine. That's fine. Let's see. Gigi says, definitely not rich, just careful, but I don't understand people buying brand new cars. I'm a small business owner and own a 15-year-old truck that was $7,500 when I bought it 10 years ago. I have an employee who pays $500 a month for his brand new car, plus has a wife at home and a baby. He makes as much as I do, so I don't see how he does it. Ugh. Citizen responds, I bought a brand new car, ironically because I'm bad with money, but not in the sense that you're thinking. Actually, I'm not that bad with money, but I have absolutely no self-discipline, and there's a difference. Yeah, that's something people really need with food and money. I will make my monthly car payments because I have to, but if I buy a cash car for $2,000, it breaks down. I'm not going to have the money saved up to fix it, so I bought a new car with the warranty, and I put very few miles on my car, about 5,000 to 6,000 per year. The idea is that by the time my warranty expires and I can pay off my car, that my car will be in good condition and I will have learned to handle my money better. We'll see. I kind of get what he's saying. I know this one person went to college, and for some reason they had some like promotion, wink wink, where if you bought a new car through the college would wink wink help you pay off that brand new car. They didn't, so now that person has some super expensive meh car because they were a kid just going into college and they trusted the college because, you know, that college is the answer, and they offered a car deal, so they did it and now they're screwed. So, yippee. Person says, 1. They chose the wrong life partner. 2. They did not budget/plan their finances. 3. They avoid learning and understanding the simple arithmetic, i.e. percent ratios, fractions, etc. This person... 4. They spend any money they have on themselves without giving it a second thought. 5. They think being a spendthrift is being generous. 6. They don't have goals or aspirations, not are they willingly to quantify them. i.e., oh god, this person, set a reasonable time to achieve them because they don't want to know how long it will take to achieve them. 7. They don't know how to choose. They best value. This person is so pompous. And then they can't even check their grammar. Like, they're trying to use all these fancy fucking words, and then they can't even check their fucking spelling and shit. It's just a little weird, and it makes their point be moot. Ooh, see, I used a fancy word too. It negates, their point. Spend money on useless things. I used to be a poor foster kids. Nobody ever... Okay. Never did grow a wild hair up my ass and start buying unless shit like fancy clothes, lottery tickets, fancy purses, fancy shoes, night out on the town, fast food, etc. I saved every penny I earned and spent it wisely. A lot of these people, it's very hard. I do my best to try to correct their grammar and shit as I'm reading, but, doesn't always work out. My cat is trying to sneak up on my food as if I don't see her. J. Will says, one thing I have found over the years is that people who have less tend to donate more, percentage-wise, and are willing to help others more so than people who have a lot. I used to donate. I'm done donating because that's time and money with fuel, wear and tear on my car, and I've seen the places I donate to, and they grab all of my belongings and throw them in this huge pile, and everything breaks anyway, so I'd rather just... I've already done this, where I bundle up clothes in lots of little bags, and then put it in the trash, and then hopefully a homeless person will come by and find it, because I've already tried to find homeless people in my town to just give them the clothes, but I can never find them, and that's my story. I'm too poor to donate, and it's no thanks. I'm done donating. I did that for years. I don't need to. But anyway, yeah, sometimes the people who have the least give the most. I get what they're saying. Lunches says, I'm well off financially, but super frugal. Owns 3 houses, rent out 2. Oh, that's pretty cool. I get a haircut once a year. I cut my own hair. Getting my nails done, what is that? Well, same here. Whatever. Sorry. I drive a 2005 Prius. Uh-oh. And will do so until it falls apart around my... Falls apart around my ears? Who is this person? What is going on right now? I don't have a smartphone. A Nokia brick phone is my jam. I bought a Diva cup so I don't have to spend money on pads. Okay. I feel like this is more of like unhumble bragging right now. I shop at Aldi's for the staples. I get hand-me-down clothes from Craigslist for my kids. I inherited my first house and lived in the 400 square feet basement with my husband for a while. Yeah, that must be nice to get your first house for free. That definitely is going to, you know, set you off right. The latter of which time I was pregnant and rented out the rest to save up for a down payment and apply for a mortgage for a second property. I've always wanted to rent out. I've debated being a landowner, and said I could be a landlord because they make an absolute ridiculous shit ton of money. The problem is you have to have a safety pile of money before you start renting out to people, because if the fridge breaks and stuff, you gotta fix that ASAP and whatnot, and I just didn't have that kind of money. And then I always just hear all these idiots who just don't pay their rent, and it's just a headache. But luckily, you know, security deposits and stuff. I digress. Person says, I stuff any extra income I have into a Roth IRA, that's the best kind, and my kids' college funds. I get that I was really lucky to have inherited the house, but, which means they cancel out everything I just said, I could be super frugal. I don't know. This doesn't sound right. I'm sorry. Oh god. Next person says, if you are living paycheck to paycheck or a minimum wage job with no money saved, don't have kids. It's incredibly irresponsible for you to do it on purpose. I agree. That is why I am not having children. Like, that would be the worst, including cursing them with my horrible genetics, which they wouldn't be able to afford to fix early on, so they would have their life halved like mine is. And that's putting it lightly. That would mean I'd live to 50, which is amazing, but I won't live to be that long. I would argue that it's not only irresponsible, but immoral, and yes, I did think about the implications of that. Okay. Someone else says it's irresponsible if you do it by accident. Abortions are a thing. Ooh, that's a hot button. Oh, jeez. Autism Parent 2017 goes, why? Why do you attach a monetary price to children? Not everyone views families with price tags. Some view them as based on religious principles, let's say. Wow, you're the dumbest cunt in all the land, aren't you? Someone goes, I'm curious what religion you're part of that seemingly condones underfed, undereducated, and unhappy children that will forever be disadvantaged in life because they grew up with a family that couldn't afford to support them. Does this dumb shit ever respond again? Yeah, they do. Because providing for the needs of children costs money, idiot, says Rick and Morty reference. The autism parent responds again. Oh my god, no, not really. I would never say that the number one things my children need to be successful costs money. What? Like, you can learn to be a nice person for free. I get that. I hope that's as far as they're saying. In fact, out of the top 10 most important things I can think of, only food, healthcare, and housing cost money. Everything else is philosophical. You are so wrong. But you have no idea how wrong you are. The important things in life are not about money. Oh, God! Ooh! Oh, gosh, this person is such a fucking dipshit. Oh, man. So someone replies, but the point of these things... Sorry, let me try again. But the point is that these things cost a lot of money, which increases exponentially with the amount of kids you have. Supporting a family on a minimum wage income in the US is very difficult, and giving your family any kind of financial padding to guard against, say, the loss of that minimum wage job is virtually impossible. Deliberately having kids when you can't reasonably guarantee them a bare minimum of food, shelter, and healthcare is irresponsible at best, outright cruel. And the dumb fucking autism parent says, well then, what do you call a rich person who deliberately has children despite the fact that they know they have to travel for their job and they will leave their elementary school-age children at home, either with their mom, their second wife, or worse, their au pair? I don't know what that means. It's like French. Because that's the neighborhood I grew up in. My next-door neighbor moved in when I was 10. He was a very wealthy lawyer, and he had to travel for cases at least 1 week out of the month. His wife was a trophy wife back in the 1960s when they got married at 21. But she couldn't do anything, couldn't cook, couldn't clean, wasn't artistic, wasn't a good writer. Oh my gosh. What about a good actor? Why do you say art and writing but not acting? Their kids used to spend almost every afternoon with my mother, who taught nursery school part-time, under the guise of my sister babysitting them. The kids had everything money could buy except parents who were good at being parents. Current status? Daughter is in a cult religion because she craves tradition and authority, which she has never had at home. Son is a gigolo, dated many wealthy women decades his senior, and currently lives with the mother of his child in Italy, but has no job. Both of these stories are 100% true, which is a nice red flag that they're not true at all. And I will delete this post after 1 to 2 days because I don't want them to accidentally find it. So I know absolutely beyond a shadow of a doubt that money really has very little to do with being a good parent, whatever point you're trying to make misunderstands parenting. Well, good job, you dumb shit. It's gonna be on my YouTube channel, and I might as well just copy and paste this fucking stuff for the keywords. That way they can find it. Bitch! I get what they're saying, that money doesn't buy good parenting. Well, I mean, it could give you, like, a parenting class, but the person still has to choose to be a good person. Unlike Autism Parent 2017, who decides to be a stupid cunt who can't realize that, like, food on the table is money. Oh god, it hurts. Somebody goes, this is some grade A trolling. Fucking is. Oh, there's more from Autistic Parent, or Autism Parent. Forge Banana says, because you are not going to be able to give them a comfortable life, isn't it obvious? And the retard goes, is giving a child a comfortable life what you see as the goal of having children? I've never heard of a parent say that ever. What? Oh my god. I know people can debate that this is trolling, but there are legitimate people that are this stupid and they believe they are so right and they are like doing a service to the world by preaching this. It is fucking terrifying. J Kitten goes, I think by comfortable most people mean a bare standard of living, such as shelter, food, clothes, healthcare, and education. Autism Parent goes, right, so the kind of life you can give a child while living paycheck to paycheck or in a minimum wage job with no money saved. Nothing fancy. Other person goes, if you have two parents making minimum wage, that's $27,000 before taxes. Oh god. So like, take away 25% of that. Average cost of a child, housing, food, clothing, health, education is around 10 grand a year. This does not include the cost of raising one. This is leaving you with 17 grand before taxes again. That puts this family well below the federal poverty level. Yep. God, is there more? Oh, there's more of this person! Someone goes, well, in those cases, sure, go ahead and have kids, but don't complain about being poor when you chose to have kids. If you are poor, try and succeed in having kids. You don't have the right to complain about being poor. You are aware of your financial stability or lack thereof. If you make a choice to live beyond your means, I don't feel bad. Accidental kids? Sure. Oops, babies. That's bad luck, and I hope you get help. If you are poor and have numerous kids on purpose, fuck off. You put yourself in that situation. Oh, and then the winner at life goes, oh god! I'm a new millionaire, so you are talking to me or someone you imagine is on the other side of the keyboard? Because that's a whole lot of you in that response to me, which makes no damn sense. Okay, so this person is apparently hitting it big with the dollar bills, and this is how fucking stupid they are. So stupid. Oh, God. But I'm the one that has no money. Yay! Fucking yay! I love life. It's so fucking miserable. Magnitude says, sweet, so because of your religious views, I, as a taxpayer, get to foot the bill of your kid. Nice. This new millionaire, autistic person says, what religious views? I'm an atheist. Just because you can't comprehend English, don't make that my problem. Oh god, you want to talk about not comprehending English? Oh, look how you type. But of course you're in the right, huh? You wonderful millionaire you. I hope that money gets taken away. 3 hours later says, I wouldn't say they are poor, but I have several employees who make 1/3 of what I do, but drive cars that are easily twice as expensive. I have also seen a few absolutely max out their finances when they decided to buy a house. Common denominator, I regularly have to ask them to get off of Facebook, etc. at work. Stop comparing yourself to other online friends and live within your means already. Very good. So, all that fake happiness on Facebook. That's why I stopped using it quite some time ago. Going on 2 years, I think, now. But yeah, it's just, And like, nobody cares to actually talk and be friends on there, so there's just no point anyway. So yeah. Oh, how can that be, says, my sister is on disability, i.e., God, people love saying i.e. It doesn't make you sound fancy. Anyway, my sister is on disability, meaning payments from the government because she is overweight. They pay her to stay at home, ... and vote Republican. Ooh, who did you vote for? Ooh. Even for Trump. I'm just gonna downvote this. Just stop making fucking shit about politics. We can't fucking see what people really mean in their head. We don't know what they're gonna do. Just stop being like, oh, they're a Trump supporter. Oh, they're a Hillary supporter, or Bernie Sanders, or who the fuck ever. Just fucking stop! Buying rims for a car. That one again. Go to trade school. It is cheaper than college. And if you are looking for a... Oh, man! A carrier, they mean career. Their spelling errors are fucking crazy. And are not wealthy enough to have the luxury of pursuing academia for no pragmatic purpose. Why are they trying to use smart words? Or smart enough to get into a major scholarship, trades are an amazing and rather underutilized path to success. At least their advice is on point. 'Cause at trade school, you're going to do actual hands-on experience with the thing you're gonna do, whereas college is a lot of fluff courses, so it's like, oh, hi, do you want to do this career? Well, you're going to learn history again, and also math again, and English again, and all of this stupid crap. And public speaking, too, even though it's not gonna do you any fucking good, but give us the money. I suppose that's where we're gonna end. How fun! So I'm gonna put Autism Parent 2017 on blast because I am a miserable person and I hate this person so bad. Fuck it. Bye!